folks. Living in color. Blessings, greetings. This Sunday evening, Labor Day weekend, September the 6th, 2020. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will learn to adapt to all this craziness that's going on. Now, with that said, hey, Candy Apple and the Brick. What's up, man? I didn't forget, no, but I forgot to pee and let the dog out. And then I realized, whoops, I've gone past. The other thing was, there's a setting, and I can't find it, that says that if you notify all the people, that click the little bell thingy and for notifications. And I was like, I can't remember if it was for 30 minutes or an hour. Delaney, how are you? I tried to find your channel and I couldn't last night. And I thought that I was already subscribed to your channel, but obviously I'm not because I looked. So I'm going to have to find your channel and subscribe. I thought I already had, Miss Delaney. So anyway, that may be the reason why I haven't seen any of your videos. So the title of this video is Being Happy May Not Be Politically Correct Anymore. Now, I read or heard this article earlier. I've listened to several shows and tried to keep up, catch up at whatever. And now I couldn't find the article, so I could refer you to it. But the people whoever's in charge of this political correctness, they've absolutely lost their mind. I mean, some of this other political correctness is like, well, okay, but now get this. Here's the thing. By the way, I love you all. Thank you. Several new subscribers this month, and bless you all. That if you are, say, in a school setting, and you're like, wow, I'm really happy today, or I've been happy the last couple of days. I'm happy. Just the word happy. And it seems that because you might say, I'm really happy today, or I'm happy to be here, or something, there's somebody who's very deeply depressed that when they hear the word happy, get this now, this is their thinking. Because you're happy and you say so, then it's going to make another person who isn't happy feel worse. So they don't want us to use the word happy. What? These people are absolutely losing their mind. I mean, I heard it, read part of it, and I was like, what? And now I can't find it. And I thought, what the hell? You can Google it. But here's the thing about it all, really, is this idea of, trying to fit something that works for everybody all the time. And it's like, look, there have been years that I was depressed and sad. And I was immortally grateful that somebody else was happy. Because when you're depressed and down and you don't think happiness can be for you or anybody else. I mean, the depression does things to the chemicals in your brain and how you feel and all this. But to say that if we declare ourselves happy in front of a sad person, we are now politically incorrect. What? Now, what we should be doing with these sad people is trying to help them to find happiness, not turn it off, not fake it. Well, if this person's really pissed off or in a bad mood, we can't say that we're happy. it might upset them. Well, no offense, but they already are. Oh yeah, but by using the word happiness or being happy, that you're going to make them feel worse. If they're already depressed, how are you going to make them feel worse? And maybe, like I just said, I was glad that somebody was happy in the world. I just couldn't find it myself. So the idea that the rest of us, though, should nix the idea of ever saying anything about um, being happy. Have we, who, the insaneness of this idea that it would be politically incorrect now to declare your happiness. Well, me and the wife had a, we're pregnant and we're so happy. Oh no, can't say that. Nope, nope, nope. Well, I just had a birthday and I'm so happy that I had my friends come. Now, personally, it's not my birthday, but my birthday is coming up soon. So y'all get ready and send me all kinds of really neat cosmic presents. Okay, and I'm joking. Actually, what I want for my birthday this year is to have people come and let's go kayaking or go on the river or let's go canoeing or something. That's what I want for my birthday. That's my present. I'll provide all the stuff. You just get here. That's what I want for my birthday, is to go do what I like to do and share it with other people. And that'd be kayaking, canoeing, river, something. Anyway. So, but that's my birthday wish. So, and if y'all can't come, we'll do a virtual trip. we'll go virtually down the river or something. Anyway, but I am happy about something today that I wanted to share. And after hearing this happiness thing, I was like, that is such a crock. A couple of month ago, I talked about my friend Serge who passed away. And also that a friend of mine, Mr. Randy, had a lawnmower fall on him and crush his chest and put him in the hospital. He was in a coma for almost 2 months, had flatlined. They had to bring him back. There were 2 times when there was absolutely zero brain activity. And guess who called me tonight on the phone to say, I'm not dead yet? My friend, Mr. Randy. After 2 months of being in a coma, and I tried to explain to him, please don't use the word paralyzed, because that means you'll never recover. So I said, let's just say that your muscles are atrophied and that you just can't move very well right now. He's extensive physical therapy. He can't walk on his own or go to the bathroom by himself, or he can't feed himself. So he's got a long way to go. And when we talked tonight on the phone, he said, brother, let me tell you, I was there. And I knew what he meant by there, to the other side. And he said, the devil said I was too mean to go to hell. And God said it wasn't time for me yet. And to kick my ass back here. And I was like, there you go. For whatever reason, his time ain't up yet. And he's a Marine, so he's a tough old bugger besides that. And, all of the prayers that not a day has went by that I'm like, Mr. Randy, please, either go ahead and pass on or get better. You know what I mean? Either if the extent of your injuries are such that you can't be healed, then pass on and let it be, easy. But he fought through it all and is back. So within a few days or a month, or a week, I'm sorry, not a month, but he'll be back in Georgia, up in Albany, but they won't allow visitors, but at least he'll be like a local call. They're all long distance, but while he was in the coma, his wife's father passed away. So it's like, man, oh man, and it was about the same time my friend Serge passed away. And he'd heard me talk about my friend, and there's a piece of lawn ornament that everybody oohs and ahs about when they come. It's an alien laying down concrete, and it belonged to my friend Serge. And I told him, he said, "That's the guy that the alien belongs to, right? Because there are people been wanting to buy it." And I'm like, "No, I can't, because it belongs to my friend Serge." Well, he's passed, so who does it belong to now? Anyway, but so he was like, "What?" So I'm happy that my friend is still alive. I mean, it would sadden me to know that he's atrophied so bad that he can't feed himself and so forth. But he's alive and could talk on the phone, and he's clear-headed, and he made it back from the other side after almost 2 months of being in a coma. I mean, like 7.5 weeks. Come on, can we round this up a little bit and just call it 2 months? 7.5 weeks. Anyway, but to the point. So, but if somebody says, "Well, you can't be happy because my friend woke up out of a coma just a few days ago," and you want to tell me that I'm sorry, but I have to be depressed because somebody else somewhere might be feeling bad, I'm going to say, "Sorry, fine me, jail me, slap me, kick me. I'd rather you didn't, but if that's what you must do." So this idea of that, wait a minute, we've got to lower our vibrations down to the fact that I think they want us all depressed. They literally are, not everybody, but there are those weird, crazy, kinky bastards out there, or bitches maybe, who are trying to just say, "Wait a minute, you hurt my feelings. I'm sorry." Sometimes your feelings need to get hurt, but you need to learn how to grow up and get over it. I spent years in tears and in shame, and that's why I started this YouTube channel along with Mother Mary kicking me in the butt. But hey, so and Sister Helene too. She was here that night when they appeared. So it was a tandem kicking the butt. And the idea, though, that we're not done yet. We're not dead yet. And Mr. Randy don't know what he's going to do, but he knows he's going to get better. He knows for whatever reason he's still here. And having been in the other side for the last 2 months, me and him we're going to have some talks. We're going to talk, And he knows me, and he knows me enough about what I do, and that I do YouTube videos and so forth, and that I am a spiritual type of person. I'm sure he's going to want to talk to me too at some point, because not too many people will sit down and have this conversation of, I was between heaven and hell for the last 2 months. I was in limbo. I was in this coma. And so, I could hear it in his voice. The devil said I was too ornery, and God said it wasn't time for me yet. So, hey, Truth and Me, Delaney, the Brick. Let's see, did I miss anybody? I think Candy Apple, are you still here? Hi, Truth and Me. I want to say hi to everybody. But this particular subject just caught me sideways. Yeah, Candy Apple, you don't have to, if you're all just sitting back and listening, that's all right. I love you all, and I'm happy that you're here. Okay, how about that one? So it's like, as a puppeteer and a storyteller, and when I used to go around all the time and do puppets and everything, and storytelling as well, I realized that there was sometimes that there were people that wasn't in a very good mood. So, and if they was being a little ornery or something, I always tried to focus, like look at them, them sitting in the audience, or maybe walk a puppet over to them, or maybe do a little one-on-one with them, And so this idea of, because you're sad, what you need is something happy. So, excuse me. Oh, by the way, thank you, Bob. I got coffee. That was the other reason why I was late getting on. Sorry about that, but I was trying to give the notification time to go out. I made a snap decision, and I went, wait a minute, I got to give this thing 30 minutes anyway. So I waited 30 minutes after I posted it, but then I was 10 minutes late. Anyway, anywho, so this idea though um, that we have to somehow skip happiness, meant to be, Hawkeye. Thank you. Yep. Um, in so many ways, there's a lot of things to just have to like, hmm. He lost his father-in-law, and I lost a friend of 30 years. And I don't know if he was been married 30 years. So, I knew my friend as long as he knew his father-in-law kind of thing. But anyway, but the sense of loss, but at the sense of also with the sense of loss with my friend, because every time I look up, there's the hawk and there are things here in the house that belong to my friend Serge. And, that can bring a tear so easily, well, I miss him and now I'll never have the chance. And all these things that just wrap up and want to get you, you know what I mean? So then I have to go, nah, I ain't going to go there. I'm going to think about the happy times when we went swamp stomping down on the Ochlockonee River in places, seriously, very few people have ever been. And I mean, ever, because it's so hard to get into and out of. But if you're an old swamper like us, or me now, it was nothing. It was an adventure, You always went prepared. You always had a machete. You always blah, 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 blah. And you always carried a pistol too, but I'm not allowed to do that. So, but anyway, the snakes that were, he used to say that I had snake radar. It was snadar. It was our little slang word for snake radar. But I was always, most of the time, in the front of the canoe, and I'd go, and I'd be going along, and if there was a tree we were going under, I'd be checking it out, and then I'd go, whoa, back up, and what's wrong? I don't know. I just feel there's something. Let's back up. And every time I did that, 95% of the time, if I said, whoop, let's not go into this tree yet, there was a snake. Now, they weren't always moccasins, but there was a snake. Now, I got nothing against the brown water snake and the other snakes that are non-venomous. But when a moccasin's sitting on a limb over you, or on a tree on a tree limb sometimes, but on a log, they have been known to drop into your canoe or / kayak. It's harder to fall into a kayak, but it's easier to drop in a John boat or something. And people have, almost killed themselves to try to get away from the snake. I understand that. So, but so anyway, I think about the times that we did something that was so special, and not that we wouldn't share it, but that nobody else has ever seen some of these places that we've been or experienced the things that we've experienced. And as an adventurer and an outdoors person and a conservationist and all that kind of stuff, it makes me happy to do that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I'm happy. Oh, wow. So to try to convey this to other people and to help lift their spirits. If you're going to lift their spirits, what is our intention? To make them happy. So if we can't use the word happy, then what are we going to say? Well, we're going to try to, holy crap, I don't know. Can I make you not depressed? Can we make you anti-depressed? Or what can we do to make you, oh shit, I almost said happy. They're making it so difficult for anyone to feel like a true human being and just speak the truth and say, gee whiz, I'm sorry you're sad today or you feel depressed. And is there some way I can help make you happier? Oh my God, don't say that. Don't say that, because it's politically incorrect. We should allow them to be depressed if they want to be. Get this. If they want to be depressed, who says that we are the ones who should determine whether or not they should be happy? Well, wait a minute. we don't want them to stay depressed. That's just like a really negative vibe place. It makes everybody around them feel weird, and it's not good for the well-being. They don't sleep well, or they sleep too much, and their eating habits are bad, and sometimes it includes drugs or other bad behaviors. So, but wait a minute, we can't. I'm sorry you feel sad today, but how can I make you feel better? Well, if I help you to make you feel better, then wouldn't that make you happy? But what gives me the right to try to make somebody else happy is their excuse. Well, if they want to be depressed, it's their business. No, it's not. I've been depressed. When you're depressed, you may not say it out loud, but you want someone to help pull you out of those doldrums, even if it's just for a short time, to help you get the spark, give you hope that you could be happy again, or can be happy, but at least the possibility could be there. So this idea, though, that we've got to squash, quell, or otherwise ignore certain things because we might offend someone. Well, I guess I'm just going to be an offensive old grumpy ass son of a bitch of an old man. Excuse my language, but piss off if you don't like. I'm not you, but to those folks out there, which would you rather be, pissed off or pissed on? And but wait a minute, what's this got to do with it? Aren't we all searching for happiness in this life? And I can say that my friend Serge, because we had adventures in the swamps, and that's what he was doing. I don't mean the day he passed away, but he was living down there at the lower end of Tate Cell in Florida, in the swamp, and boy, let me tell you, that's one big ass swamp down there, and nasty and all kinds of stuff in there. Woolly boogers. You hear what I'm talking about? Woolly boogers. And so swamp things. But the idea, though, that he was doing in his lifetime what he wanted to do, be near the water, on the swamp, be in this, and live there, and that was his life. So one could say, well, if I died tomorrow, would I be happy? Well, I'd be as happy as possible because I'm doing as much as I can the way I'd like to do it. Now, I do want to go kayaking some more, but it's just been too blaming hot. So, but that's going to be fixed. It's supposed to actually be in the upper 80s in a few days down here. So September's here. But anyway, not that it can't get into the 90s in September or October. It has. But anyway, but we're coming into the fall season. So, but the idea of happiness, that we can't be happy or show it or say the words because we may offend someone else. That's got to be a new low. It's got to be a new fat crap cray out there in the universe. And I immediately want to say, no, I refuse to accept that. I'm going to try to keep on enlightening people with lightning if they need it. It's a joke. But, to bring a little bit of humor, levity, or something into this, because there's a lot of us who would be so depressed. If I was a drinking man now, I would be stone drunk right now. I mean, I'd be like, well, I watched the hockey game, and or whatever. I didn't need a sport to get drunk. It was just an everyday thing. But the idea, though, that if I want to say, wait a minute, I can get on here and say, oh, I feel so depressed. I feel so bad. My friend's this and that. You all know me enough by now to know that I'm going to try to find the positive in that. So in this world of chaos and craziness, I will continue to do that and, tell those other folks with this, whatever politically correctness stuff that's going on, to shove it. I don't care if they shove it where the sun don't shine or if the sun shines there once in a while. Not my problem. They can shove it down their throat and gag them anyway. But the idea that now they want to relegate our happiness as if shit wasn't bad enough. They want to relegate and regulate our happiness and whether or not we can describe it or use it or say it out loud or use the word. My friends, we need a prayer circle about this. I mean, we can we talk here? Some of these people, I need a come to Jesus meeting. You know, I'm sure that Jesus would go, what? Even in Arabic, it would come out, huh? You know, we've got to stop this. We have got to speak up and go. Not so much that the people are wrong, but the idea that we can't share happiness, that's wrong. Now, the people, they can have their own opinion. Opinions are like assholes. We all got one. And some of them some of them carry their buttholes up on their shoulders. So, but anyway, in this day and age, I would encourage you all, despite all of the chaos, to find something that makes you smile or laugh. And if you can't be happy all day, pick a time and go, I've had enough of this craziness. I'm going to laugh about something. Let me go find an old, a joke book. Let me go find some humor. Let me go laugh at the squirrel riding a skateboard or holding on to the, and the water skiing squirrel that was so popular back in the day. Do something that makes you laugh. Do something, even if it's for a short period of time, that makes you happy. When I did the video about, value, be of value. Do something that is of value to you that makes you happy. Despite what all these other curmudgeons want to watch ridiculousness. Okay. I send cosmic hugs. Yes, thank you, Delaney. Big cosmic hugs to everybody out there. Yes. But anyway, so it had just got next to me about hearing and reading this, and I was like, so what's next? What are they going to put to us next? In this craziness of chaos and confusion, the cacophony of kooks that are out there that are going to try to make us believe something. And I missed the live stream last night of Soul Tribe, but I want to put my 2 cents in here after 30 minutes almost about who is controlling us or who or what is controlling us. And I want to say this. No one is controlling me. Now, they may be controlling situations on this planet, and I have to dodge my way around the landmines. But the idea that I am literally a puppet to someone, no. Now, I serve the cause, but I don't worship anything. I give thanks and honor to the universe on a regular basis and a continuous basis. So the idea that somehow down the line, it's important that we keep smiling, They want to take out whatever it is. Now, who are they? Now, there is the argument that they are the ones controlling us. Well, unless you're behind bars, literally, they're not controlling you. If you can still drive your car, if you can still walk outside, mask or not, if you can still go to the grocery store on your own, if you can still do certain things, then, and you get to pick what time to go do them, other than store hours, then you're not being controlled by anyone or anything. We all have free will to make the choice. So if you're being manipulated, now we all are with commercials and stuff like that, but being manipulated and uh, you know being in control of us. Now, there is a big difference. Now, but the manipulation can be so bad or so uh, hard or anyway that it seems as though you're being controlled, but you still have a modicum of free will to go this way or that way, choose yes or no to do it. Um, there's a guy called Deke Jackson on the internet, Deek Jackson. He's from England, UK over there. And he uses the F word a lot, but he uses it, I got to say, a lot of times that it's appropriate. But he's like, say no to masks, say no to testing, and say no to vaccines. And he's made up this T-shirts and stuff, and and it's a way to say no. I'm not going to be a part of this, or this is how I feel about this. So rather than getting in everybody's face, he's got T-shirts. So it's like, you want to know, you want to tell somebody how you feel? If they can read, here's my T-shirt. There you go. And unless the other person wants to start an argument, you said your piece without opening your mouth. So this last weekend, or yesterday, I guess it was, or maybe it was Friday, I think it was Denver, but there are several towns who are having demonstrations with everybody without a mask. It's the unmasking. Now, here in our local town, they just opened up the theaters. My friend Marcia went tonight. I didn't go because I haven't practiced leaving the dog here by himself. And also, I was in the middle of something else, and I would have missed that call from my friend Randy. So there was a reason I stayed home. But anyway, the theaters are open with every other row set off, and people wear their mask in. But when they get in, they can take their mask off so they can eat their popcorn and all. So people are still being a little cautious, but the theaters are open again. Okay, great. We're making headway, But as watching the Kentucky Derby yesterday, there are guys that are a half a mile away on the other side of the track with a mask on during the daytime. And I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with these people? Then there are other folks who are riding on horses and stuff that didn't have a mask on at all. And I was like, cheers. And some of the folks way up in the stand had their mask pulled down to their chin. And I was like, good for you. There's nobody around you. What are you going to get? You're more likely to get an allergy or something than you are to get the flu up there. But anyway, so people are starting to, okay, we're closer. We'll marry, so people are starting to not be as panicked. But to the point, though, the folks at Churchill Downs and that made everybody panic. Well, you got to wear a mask. Well, but there's nobody here. Why should I? There's nobody here. Literally, there's nobody here. The horses and the trainers, but there's nobody here. Why should we all wear a mask? So it's more of a practicality thing, not about a safety health issue. So people are waking up to this. So we need to keep it up and say, look, I'm sorry, but I'm 6 feet away from the person. And, many doctors are trying to come out of the closet and go, unless you get coughed on and there is some type of sputum which will carry the virus, then the mask is no good because the virus is smaller than any of the mesh. It's the sputum, the spit, the sneezing, the coughing, that could carry the virus. So people are getting tired of the BS. Now, you all, for those of you who may have been in a video a couple of days ago, I was quite adamant, and I still am. And now there's a movement that says, hell yes, I'm going to vote in person. So get this, VIP. Now, if you hear it somewhere else out there, VIP, vote in person. I said this a couple of nights ago. I said, don't trust the system. Don't trust somebody, that you're going to mail it in and you're going to do this and expect your vote to count. Vote in person is what I said. VIP. So if it comes out on the internet, Uncle Dave was one of the first to say it out loud. But it's good. I'm not trying to claim glory for it, but it's now becoming a wave of other people who are starting to spread this around. Vote in person. Right on. So I think I just got it from the collective, you know what I mean? But now, and I sent it out there as a wish and a prayer, and not necessarily a demand, but if you really want your vote to count, that's sort of it's demanding in that if you want to vote to count, then go in person. That's what I mean. Not that I'm demanding it, but your vote, your vote demands that you vote in person. There you go. So anyway, so a lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of crazy people trying to continue to push their views on us. And there are so many people that are so whacked out, they honestly don't know where to turn. They don't know whether or not to believe this person or this group or that group, this doctor, that doctor. Oh, holy crap. So the best thing we can do is, some of my friends who were wearing the mask earlier on are going, this is dumb. I've done my research. My friend's granddaughter, we had a conversation the other day. She's 11. Well, she's 12 now. No, she'll be 12 on September the 11th. What a day to have a birthday, right? Oh my goodness. She was born on September 11th. I don't know if it was that day she was born on, but the date is September 11th. But so anyway, so she said, well, I've done my research because I want to go to school. And the research says that very few healthy kids under the age of whatever have gotten the disease or gotten the virus or have gotten actually sick from it, had to go in the hospital or died from it. It's all people in nursing homes and hospitals and people with respiratory issues and with bad asthma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, and that's what the president's been saying. That's what the governors and these folks and that folk, they want to say our governor is not acting appropriately. And it's like, but the numbers that everybody's talking about don't show that school kids are going to get this. Could they transmit it? Okay. But I told my friend, I said, listen, I said, don't use the hand gel all the time because it's bad on your hands. And it also kills any good bacteria. But use a little bit of vinegar. Carry a little bottle of vinegar. And if you feel like you've been around somebody that's mushy or, mucus, wash your hands with a little bit of vinegar. What? I said, you'll smell like a salad. Well, I don't want to smell like vinegar. And I go, but vinegar is more natural to your hands and can change the pH and it's good for you. Whereas using this sanitizer stuff all the time is not good for you. So, if you got to wash and you got to do this, use something that will kill it, but at the same time ain't going to kill you, especially over the long run. So she started back to school. There, she's real happy. It's on a day, off a day, on a day, in a, I don't know. And some of the kids are staying home and they're doing it by video. And they've all got these little Chromebooks with their stuff on it. And like, okay. All right. So if my property tax includes the school tax, that I'm helping to buy these kids little Chromebooks so that they can video conference back and forth and not be put in harm's way. There are a lot of other things that are in schools that are a lot worse than this virus. The common cold will keep you out. Measles, mumps, bad, you name it. Social pressure between kids. That's enough to drive some people crazy. But this idea that we can't use the word happy is just beyond me. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's see what happens. I'm fingers crossed. This is just one weirdo's brain fart that's trying to get out into the collective. And I'm saying, nah, let's mush that one down. Let's be happy about it anyway. And let's send prayers to whoever sent that out. And God, they must have a horrible life if saying the word happy offends them. Can you? I mean, I've been mulling over this for the last couple hours, and it just keeps coming up in my head. How can anybody be so nuts as to think that that's, you know, they're not thinking rationally, obviously, but to then want to put it on the rest of us, they want to be controlling. I don't. So, in talking about the controlling thing, you're only under control if you allow it. So if you're going to go do something mean, wicked, bad, and nasty, you got the choice not to do something wicked, mean, bad, and nasty. If you're going to ignore someone, which could still be not necessarily evil, but bad and nasty, if you ignore situations or ignore trying to help someone or that can have a debilitating effect to it because of that. But if anyone out there is thinking that they're being controlled, let's use the word manipulated. Okay. Now, for example, they control us by the gas and the gas prices. Do they? Well, they don't control me because I just won't drive. Now they manipulate me because the price is high or low back when it was $4 something a gallon. Remember those days? Now all of a sudden it's $2 a gallon around here for regular. But it was almost $5 for premium, which is hard to find right now for some reason. But I used to only run premium in my truck, and she wouldn't run. I mean, I've been having to put in regular because that was all that was available. So am I being controlled by that? Well, am I being manipulated? Well, I can use a gas ad over to this or that, or go search for more premium gas or something, put it and some STP in the tank or whatever. Boost the octane, etc. But this idea, though, that they're actually controlling us. Now, as a puppeteer, I know what controls are, and I have controlled the puppets. You manipulate the controls to control the puppet. Now, yes, there are strings, and yes, there are this, and of course they set prices, and but I would say that there are a lot of extraneous other things. I mean, the drought that was down here in the South, the snow that's supposed to be coming in, the tornadoes that tore up Iowa and the corn crop and soybean. Listen, the planet has been having issues since it was formed. And to think that, well, we're going to have a problem here. They're going to, they do manipulate the corn prices and stuff, the commodities market. But that is controlled. But does it control you and me? Well, I don't know. If corn's too expensive and I can't buy it, then I just don't eat corn. I don't buy corn. If I don't do the soybean thing, if I can't afford that, I just don't buy it. I find a substitute. So now, is it hurting me? No, because I've learned to adapt. So, but other people feel like they are being forced into doing something. Well, if you want to buy gas, you're forced to pay the price. Is that control? Well, that's just the way shit happens. It's business. It's the thing. Well, are they controlling us? Okay. Now, if you want to give in to the fact that, they're mind controlling us all, and they're controlling this and that, then you are. If you realize, well, shit, You know, damn gas prices. I remember when prices was 29 cents a gallon. I'm that freaking old, okay? You could buy kerosene for 19 cents a gallon. Now it's $5 a gallon for kerosene, okay? Coal oil, what they used to call it back in the day. You know, so it's like, well, wait a minute, but are they manipulating me or are they controlling me? Well, look, the price of a shovel back in the days of the Old West was as much as it costs now to buy a shovel. Why? Because they didn't make them out west; they had to be shipped. So what might have cost 2 bits on the East Coast by the time it got, you know, to Utah or someplace and had to be hauled by horse and buggy and this and that and the other thing, it was going to cost you $10 for a shovel. And people were like, what? They paid it. Well, were they being manipulated? It was the market. Well, we could say, well, blah, blah, blah. Well, everybody had to make a dollar along the way. So, but were they being controlled? You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. And it's been this way for a long time. So now we've got the internet, and now people want to talk about being manipulated. If you think this is something new, you know, you haven't been paying attention. What you understand is that whatever's going on, you have the free will whether or not to participate or not. Well, I don't know, the price of gas and everything. Okay, so get a horse. All right, we'll get a motorcycle. Okay, well, you know, well, the price of this. Well, all right, I can't stand the price of you know, fresh lettuce. And it doesn't stay fresh very long as like it used to. So well, I'm not buying lettuce anymore like I used to. Simply because, and it's not because they're controlling me, it's because I have chosen not to. So the idea of being controlled or, you know, who or what it is, there are a lot of factors in that how the whole planet is being manipulated. I will absolutely agree that there are folks in the higher realms and this and that that are doing this, pulling that, and doing this and doing absolutely. But if you're buying into the fact that your individual life is being controlled, then you need to wake up. You need to get that out of your head. Because when you see the game, you choose whether or not to play it. Well, wait a minute now. No, I know we are being manipulated. I will agree to that. But in my mind, I see the game they're playing, and I choose how I want to participate, if I want to participate. So are they controlling me? Only if I allow it. Only if I want to go into their mindset. If I want to go to the movie theater, then I'm going to have to wear a mask in, do the thing. And so those are the rules at the moment. Well, okay. But am I being controlled or manipulated? It's just the rules right now. So, well, they're manipulating me and they're control of this and that. Yeah, they do have some sort of control up here. But are you accepting it, or do you see it and go, I see what they're doing. Yeah, I'm going to have to play along with this. But choose not to be controlled. If you're allowing yourself to be sucked into this, then you are being controlled. If you can't stop a video game or you can't shut your damn computer off or cell phone. Oh, my God. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. And she goes, you know, my cell phone's on all the time. You know, even when I'm asleep. And I'm like, why? Well, I don't know. It is. So you don't shut it off? Well, it's just the phone. It just goes over there. So folks, with the phone, and yes, these high frequencies do affect our brains. Could they be putting something in the brainwave thing through your cell phone at all? I wouldn't doubt it, but at the same time, I'm not going to go, oh my God, my Wi-Fi's on. Oh, the spirits are talking in my head. I got enough stuff talking in my head, let alone for them. But when you reach a certain point, I believe, in looking back on some of this stuff, maybe I'm I don't know if I reach a certain point where I see some of this stuff, and instead of it trying to influence me, I want to I want to throw up. It's all I can do to like not puke. Or, I go, oh man, oh, there they go with that again, and I turn my head. And with the flashing light thing, somebody a few months back, I was talking about flashing lights and this and that. And I said, if you're watching a lot of flashing, blinking lights, I said, you are being mind controlled because that's how they do it. I've had seizures. They put me into seizures by doing the flashing lights. Trust me, if you're watching a flickering screen or whatever, or there's some game or something that's going boom, bam, boom, boom, and there's all these flashing lights, oh yeah. And I don't have a clue what's going on in that flashing light business, but you have the free will to participate in it or not. And if you continue to participate when in the games with the flashing lights and all this stuff, and you feel your mind is being controlled, you probably are. I would agree with that. But it's your free will, which I did a video on. It's your free will to make the choice. Do you wish to participate in their crap and their mind games and in their chaos? If so, then you are being controlled. So, but who is controlling us? Nobody's controlling me. I'm in control of myself. I go out and play the game because I want to drive my vehicle, so I have to pay the tag. I have to buy tags here this coming up because it's my birth month. So I got to pay, if I want to drive my vehicle and pull my trailer, so I can have a tag on it and everything, then I got to pay the state of Georgia for the privilege of driving in the state. So my tag, and then, of course, I have to pay my insurance because the state requires it. Well, that's already paid for, but for the next 6 months. But to the point, so yes, I have to play the game. But are they manipulating? Are they controlling me? It's go back to the medieval days of King Arthur and them guys. The Black Knight comes into the village and says, "Okay, everybody, pay up." Were they being controlled? Well, they had to give homage to the to the Duke or the Duchess or the King or whoever. But were they being controlled? No, they still went out and did things, blah, blah, blah. They starved to death. And, they had a lot of things that they could make choices with. But are we being controlled in that sense? And if you say yes to that, then you've given up your freedom, in my humble opinion. If you say no, I see their game and how they want to manipulate us, then you still have control of your life. You still have control of your own thoughts. You still have control. You still have the power. You haven't given to them. But if you say, oh, yeah, we're all being controlled, we're all being manipulated, then you've bought into it. Please don't buy into it, because if you say yes to this, then you're allowing yourself to be controlled. If you say, no, I'm not being controlled, but I see what they're doing and I see they want to control us, but, so we are smarter than that, okay? We've reached a certain mental capacity. Yes, I feel a little fiery about this, but if you concede that they're controlling us, then that's it. We're lost. We're done for. You're done for, because then it's a hopeless situation. And I look at it and go, well, when I know I bring up this thing about being in jail, but in being in jail, we had certain rules, but some of them we were able to work around. And did it hurt anybody? No. And did we try to break out? No. Did we try to poison anybody? No. But we wanted to make our own hooch, which I did pretty good with being in jail. So we had to play cat and mouse so that we could make our own liquor. And it wasn't all the time. It was very infrequent. It ain't like once a week we was getting drunk. No, maybe once a month. And of course, we had to share it with all of those who participated in the crime, which was fine with me. But the idea, though, that even when you're in prison or jail or whatever. And I mean, I was in maximum security lockdown. We still found ways around things. So oh, you might have me locked up, but you ain't got my soul. You don't have my brain. You don't have my, I go along and play your game, massive, because I'm in jail, but you still don't have control of me. Now they can make you go to your thing and they can put you in solitary and all that, but still, do they have control of you? And I learned a long time ago that, and it is being reiterated to me that no, only when we give into it and we say, oh man, I'm being controlled. Oh man, I'm being manipulated. Well, the idea of being manipulated, of course we are. The stocks and the commodities, all that is being manipulated. Yes, that's true. I want to be emphatic about that and say, yes, I understand it. Yes, I agree. But is it controlling you? That's my point. Yeah, there's a lot of control measures going on, but is it controlling you? Seriously controlling you? If you got somebody going with a whip going, you're gonna do this, or I'm gonna, hey G Aunt, how are you? So this idea of who is controlling us and why or whatever, I didn't watch the video, okay, but I saw the subject line, and I wanted with this ain't got nothing to do with what was on Milky Way last night. It has to do simply with the subject matter, the title. Who or what is controlling us? Okay. I say nobody's controlling me. But there are, I say, other higher power sources, whatever. And and higher entity power sources and stuff. There's a channel that I subscribe to called WHAAAT, and shows the anomalies around the sun from LASCO C2 and C3, and the spaceships and big ass items. And there's one where it looks like another one is shooting down at it, way out near the sun. These things are huge. They're bigger than the planet Earth. And they're showing up on the radar. They've been there for a long time. I've discussed them. I can't share the screen anymore with some of these things. I have to look into Zoom. I'm actually looking into getting another Chromebook because this Windows thingy here is just hasn't been my cup of tea. And I miss my little Chromebook sitting over there that's forever fried now. And it would cost me more to try to fix it than it would be just to get another one. But anyway. 5 years on a $300 investment, I don't think is such a bad idea. But anyway, so the idea though that are we being manipulated? Yeah, but are we being controlled? And I say, not in my book, because I refuse to be controlled. Manipulated, I can't help it. I got to pay whatever's at the gas pump. My $400 and some odd taxes this year for property taxes. Oh, well, got to pay the king his due. That's just the way it is. But am I being manipulated? No, I have chosen not to pay it and ended up almost going to jail and losing my property and having to, literally cry and beg for money because what was $400 became $1,000. And then I really couldn't, and I've been through this several times. And, we're trying to complain about my high property taxes. And see, I'll just explain why my taxes are too high. I have 18 acres, but there's only about 6 acres that you can actually do anything with. All the acreage behind the house and that way to the river floods and is too low. You can't do anything with it except grow trees. And you can't tax trees or something like that, or what may be possible, or, so swampland, is supposed to be $400 or $500 an acre, whereas the land up here on the hill that's high and dry and all that is $1,000 an acre. I agree, but they've taken the whole 18 acres and appraised it for the same value as the top of my driveway, and that's false. So my argument over the years is, and they keep changing it back and forth, and I bitch and complain, and they change it again, and blah. So, but anyway, because the king wants more money, even from the poor people. So, but I've over the last couple of years, I've realized that to keep them son of a guns from coming down here or being, I'm going to pay the devil his due and be done with it. But am I being controlled? No, because I've refused to pay it before. It only got me in more trouble. So I've learned it. Wait, I got to play this game. It's called the game of life. Nothing is free. Now there are some places, and depending on how you live and whatever, okay. But freedom is still cost. To be free of electricity or this and that, then you're going to have to come up with candles and tallow and this. You're going to have to, grind your own stuff, and you won't have a refrigerator, and so and freedom comes at a cost. Even having nothing to do with the rest of it. You don't think them pioneers suffered and did and whatever, back in the day, but they were free men. We are free people now. And, if somebody pulled a gun to my head and said, well, now you got to come with me, boy, I'm going to go. Is that control? I could argue and say no. But in my own thought, I'm going to go with this guy because he's got a gun to my head. And I've had a gun to my head right there, a 38 special pointed right between my eyes. I can still see the bullets in the end of the chamber thingy. So this idea, though, do you wish to accept or reject that you're being controlled? And I mean being controlled like reject it. Are things around you being manipulated to make life tough? Yeah, absolutely. Are there people in power that try to control us? Absolutely. But am I personally being controlled? And the answer is no. If I don't want to pay the high price of electricity, I shut my lights off. Now, other people go, well, I can't do that. Well, they're controlling me. No, you're allowing yourself to submit. And that's a big difference. Now, I choose my battles. I'm going to pay my electric bill because it ain't that much. And it's a whole lot easier than trying to convert to solar and all this other stuff. Tried it. It don't work. And this last month has been the highest my electric bill has been. It was $56 or $58 for 30 days. And it's because I added another fan to the house that runs almost all the time. And I don't have air conditioning. So if I'd had an air conditioner, it'd be $158. So I save money by not doing the air conditioning thing. I also save my body because, I don't have to adjust in and out. Oh, that's so hard on people. But so do they control me? I figured a way around some of this stuff. Do they still manipulate the prices? Yes. Do they still do that? Yes. Do they move me? I still got to pay taxes? Yes. But is it control? I could sell my place and move into a trailer somewhere and pay no taxes. I still have a choice, but I choose to stay here, so I got to play by the rules. But is that control? Not to me, because I understand what I'm doing. Now, if you're just wandering around going, well, I got to do this. Well, I have to do that. And if I don't do this, then, and you're walking around zombie-like and your arms are flipping up and down like some kind of marionette puppet, then you may be controlled. But if you've got any bit of a brain about you and you realize what's going on, you realize that you are you and only you's got control over you. Don't give in to this paranoia, okay? Are the markets being manipulated? Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that, okay? But am I being controlled? And that's an emphatic no, 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 no. You can't have me. I will play your game here or there. If I want to go fishing, I got to buy a license. If I want to take my canoe and put a motor on it, state law requires that I pay $35 every 2 years for the sticker, and I blah, blah. So if I want to do things without getting fined or put in jail, I will pay the license fees. But are they controlling me? No, because I've gone for years without putting a sticker on my canoe. And yes, I've used it with a trolling motor. And thank God I didn't get caught, because it would have been like $100 fine or some crap. It was $65 for not having a life vest in the kayak. When if you fell out, it was like only barely up to your knees in the water we were in. Doesn't matter. We were on the water in on a public river, and $65 a piece for no PFD. And it was the first time I hadn't had it on. There's been so many times on the river in the middle of the night when there was nobody around, I could have not had it on. But I wore it but I was with friends and the dog, and I did $65 if you don't play it by their rules. And you don't ever know when you're going to get caught. All the years that I've been kayaking, I'd never been stopped by a DNR guy. One day out of all that time, $65. Are they controlling me? Are they manipulating me? It's the rules, and I broke the rules, plain and simple. So breaking the rules and being controlled, totally different, because we can choose not to play the game. Some of my friends, like I said, I have not seen the video yet of the subject with Milky Way Soul Tribe. And this has nothing to do with whatever they said, because I didn't want to get involved in that, but I thought the topic was interesting. And these are my 2 cents about that. So be cautious. If you give in and you give up, now if you have to give in and you know you're giving in, that's a lot of difference. I choose to play a certain part of this game. If I want to go fishing, I'm going to buy a license. If I'm going to go boating with a motor, then I'm going to get my vehicle registered. If I'm going to drive on the highway because of state law, I'm going to have a tag, and I'm going to have insurance. Okay, because I want to play. I want to be able to drive somewhere. So I play the game, but are they controlling me? And I say no. Are they fiddling with us? And yes, but they're not controlling. So I love you, my dear friends. I do. And giving away our personal right. Now, the brick, I've tried with the generator in the river, but the river doesn't flow constantly. And it's a quarter of a mile back in the woods, and you can't run a power line that I'd be better off with solar. I tried that. Loretta, something higher is flying around my house tonight. A lot of somethings. Ooh, be careful, Loretta. Yeah, and she's stubborn. Rick, we have a king. Me too. It was a Glock 40. You got a river? Yeah. If I had a real river, I would put a generator in it. But this ain't a real river. It's a real river, but we haven't had sustainable rainfall to make the river run. And the best that I could do with the generator would be able to put out 12 volts, which is okay with me. I'm seriously looking at getting the biggest thing that bothers me, 2 things. I'm addicted to a fan, not necessarily in the wintertime. Oh, you thought there were satellites and they crisscrossed. I saw a couple of years ago, I saw one crisscross another, and the one shot the other one out of the sky and disappeared. That was just crazy, Loretta. Great show, brother. Much gratitude and love. Blessings, peace, and joy to us all. Oh, you all. Yeah, us all. Yeah. So only you have the right to give up. There were the Jews and other people back in the day of World War II that were led to their death and shot because they were of a certain faith. And those people, there was interviews by people who were the shooters. Hey, Maverick, how are you? And they said that these people walked to their deaths with dignity, even though they were naked and stripped of clothing and everything. They walked with dignity, and were shot and killed. With some of those mass murder thingies. And so you got to say, well, you know what? Wait a minute. Instead of wailing and screaming, they went to their death with honor and pride, even though they were stripped naked and shot and killed and put in a big pile with a bunch of others. They went with dignity. So right up to the end, they didn't give in. So regardless of what happens, it's up to us. We can cry and scream and wail at the end, but, well, from pain, but the idea that though, do we give in to them? Do we give up our own sovereignty? And I say no. Now, there are many people who sold out for a lot less. Well, I'll go along with this so I don't get hurt or whatever. And it depends, because there are times when you got to make the choices like, well, I won't do their dirty work, but I might go, yes, sir, boss man, what you need? Now, if he's like, well, go empty the toilet or go unclog the sink or something. Okay, boss man. But if he said, I want you to kill those people over there, I'd have to say, no, sir, can't do that. Ain't going to do it. Now, to the people that were interviewed about killing their fellow villagers, and many of them were friends, they said that if they didn't do it, the soldiers were going to kill their entire family. Now, I live alone down here, so I can make the choice and go, no, just shoot me. I ain't doing it. But if I had a family to think about now, so what they said was that they didn't want to do this, but what they had decided that they had made it their moral obligation to shoot these people in such a way that they did not suffer. They didn't want anybody to suffer. So in the killing of the people, not the soldiers now, these were townsfolk that were conscripted, that they shot them in such a way that they didn't disfigure them, but killed them right away so that they did not suffer. And they would shoot the parents so the parents didn't have to see the children murdered. And because the children were children, they considered it easier. But they didn't want the parents, the last thing that they saw was to see their child being killed. And you think, well, wait a minute, what? So they were being controlled. There were people with machine guns, and they were ready to, you don't do this, you were dead. So now that's very different circumstances than what many of us have to this day, currently. So what we should do, though, is understand it could be a lot worse than what it is. Let's not go there. But at the same time, can't we go with dignity? So are they controlling me? No. They're controlling commodities and all that, but they're not controlling me because I refuse. Will I go buy something that's really expensive if I need it? Yeah, because I need it. Or at least I think I do. I might actually need it. If I need a new tire and it's $200, I'm not going, it's $200. I'm going to pay it because I need a tire. Not because they're controlling me, okay? I need the tire. Well, the price is really high, and they manufactured this, and they manipulated that. Okay, fine. Bottom line, I need a tire. It's $200. I'm going to pay it. No matter what the other reasons or the fluff or everything else is. So we need to just look at things as nuts and bolts. This is how it is. Are people screwing with stuff? They've been screwing with stuff for thousands of years. There's always somebody that wants to be in power. There's always somebody that wants to control somebody else. And I say, you're only controlled unless you allow yourself to be. Now, you might have to play the game to get along, like paying your taxes, but that doesn't mean they're controlling me. Okay? There is a difference. Because I could give it all up. I could sell it. I could give it away. I could just get in my truck, load up my trailer, take the dog, and go. And that be that. And leave everything here if I wanted to. I have choices. So my choice is I want to stay here for a while longer at least. But do I have to play their game? Yes. Understand that you are choosing not to be controlled, to have to play part of the game. If you fall into that category that you feel like you are being controlled, change the word to manipulate. Of course, they're manipulating us. But understand that sometimes you got to pay the piper. If it's necessary, then you got to do it. So you can bitch and complain and jump up and down all you want to about the manipulation. But please don't get into that they are controlling us. Manipulating, trying to control us, absolutely. And there are people who are being controlled. Wake up, smell the coffee. Thank you, Bob, by the way. Let me light a cigarette and see what y'all got to say. Loretta, I'm not a fan of playing the game. It's tedious. I agree. And when I worked and had to drive back and forth and do a lot of game playing, but now that I'm retired and so forth, a lot of less game playing. But if we got to live and we're going to do certain things, then we got to live by whatever rules they set out. But the thing is that people think they don't have a choice, and that's where we're being controlled. Not if you think about it. I've seen people make choices like I was talking about the other night. My pops, my uncle who adopted me, he quit the meat cutting business at a lucrative job, and the one store franchise sold out to another, and they changed the policy. They made him assistant manager after he'd been a manager for almost 15 years of the meat department. He decided, the hell with this. All his kids were mostly grown. I was out. But my brother and sister, I think they were like last year of high school, but gave it all up and joined the carnival and ran the cookhouse for 15 years or good ball. So he made a choice. So it's like, no, I don't have to play this game. I don't have to play their corporate game. I don't have to do that. He changed his mind and went in another direction. We have the same opportunity. Was it hard on him? Yeah. Was it easy for the two of them? No. They went through a lot of hardships and a lot of trouble and a lot of this, but they were persistent and had made up their mind, and they were happier in their new gig, even though they had to work a lot. They got 2 or 3 months off every year because the carnival was in winter quarters. I'm not a fan of playing the game. It's tedious, says Loretta. Things must be happening fast because they changed the rules and seem desperate. You're absolutely right, Loretta. The Agenda 21 thing, you're new to the chat, and blessings and greetings, Cosmic Hugs. The Agenda 21 thing, you see, was supposed to have happened already. What started back in 18 something with Albert Pike and all that kind of stuff, there's supposed to be a big population reduction by now. They're supposed to have a lot more control of us 7 billion people on the planet, and they have not achieved their goal. So the rioting is being paid for by outside sources. $30-something million to Black Lives Matter, And I'm sorry, but is any of that money going to the families? No, it's going on protest and to pay people from going to town to protest and to be violent and to start rioting. And it's like people, oh, give to the Black Lives Matter. No, because the people who are doing some of this stuff are promoting riots and unrest. Martin Luther King never asked for a dime, and he protested and walked across the bridge in Selma, Alabama, I think it was. And he was down here in Albany, Georgia, which is just up the road from us. But they didn't ever ask for money. They didn't ask for support. They found it amongst each other, but they weren't carrying guns and knives and things because they said this has got to be um, um, this has got to be done peaceably, otherwise it will be taken badly. So the idea that these folks now they're ready to riot, they want to riot, and what was different back in the '60s was the blacks wouldn't riot, not under MLK, and now after he was murdered and stuff, things changed. But the idea, though, that now there's only one way to do it, and that's to burn and kill and all that. Listen, they burned Watts. They burned parts of Detroit and Chicago and other places. Did it do them any good? No. It just made them look stupid. Go back in history and look at those stuff. Did all those riots back? I'm speaking of riots, not demonstrations or protests. Riots. Has rioting ever achieved anything? And the answer is no. Has protest helped? Yes. Has demonstrations helped? Yes, but only marginally, only to bring a subject up to the population. Listen, they had that thing in Denver yesterday or the day before about, no masks. It should be our choice whether we wear a mask or not, not a mandate. And, Joe Biden and them, they came out and said, we're going to support mandating masks for everybody. No, 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 no. If I were still a Democrat, it says Democrat on my card, but in my belief, if I would say, sorry, I ain't voting for you, you idiot, but anyway, they've already done enough to take away our, quote, our free will. But I'm trying to explain, though, that even with all their crap, we still have choices. They may be really crappy choices. They may be, oh, I really don't want to do that kind of choice. And you say, well, I feel I'm boxed in. I feel like I'm caught in a trap. You can set yourself free. It's up to you. You still have free will. And now, do we give into the system? I pay my taxes now because they have beat me so badly with fines and fees and this and that and the other thing. I'm going to pay my tax. Am I giving in? I'm okay. That part of the game I have to play. There is no free ride. Get truthful and get loving, and I will see you soon. G. Ant. Yep. Loretta says, I'd say the best protest would be to have everyone stop all business until we heard save up food and just sit in. Maverick says, sometimes I wonder, does it matter? Do I? Maverick, we matter, but in the grand scheme of things, every grain of sand makes the beach. If we start, if the grains of sand aren't on the beach anymore, there ain't a beach. So between you and me, we're a sunny beach. But to the point, though, about being controlled, everybody's got their own definition of it. But having led my life with all, and trust me, I've played the corporate game. I was in worked for, was an engineer, and designed parts for Ford, Ford cars, both North America and in Europe, Honda, Nissan, Chrysler. The only ones we didn't do were Delco Remy, which is Chevrolet. But so I've worked with each one of those different kind of first tier automotive. Anyway, and all the corporate stuff and all the paperwork and all of that. I get it. I really do. But I'm still saying until that we have no choice whatsoever, you know, if the only choice is to get shot and die, well, okay. That ain't going to happen. And especially down here in the South. If these crazy folks that are running things, if they think, if, if they think that a revolutionary, whatever, something, this, that, and the other thing, if they think the South is going to rise again. Oh, whoo-wee. And there are a lot of Southerners in Ohio that show the stars and bars. So the revolution is, if they think they're going to sick the Army and Navy or somebody, yes, GN, we are being herded, not really a control, more of a trick and a con. Yes, it's to see how you will react. Yes, whether we react to the chaos and whether or not they can do more of that. I absolutely agree with you. Well, I'll be son of a beach. Maverick, you got the idea, okay. Loretta, I would not want to see my kids harmed, but I'm a fighter. Yes, absolutely. One of the things about the internet and the computer and everything, how we react to everything, or don't. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about the fact that the compassionate observer, if we allow our emotions to get caught up in every headline that we read, we're going to die of ulcers and heart failure from the cardiac arrest. But the idea, though, that if we see the con game, I want to drive my truck. I could make my own fuel now, but it's a lot more difficult. I could ride a horse. I could ride a bicycle. I could move into town and walk to the store, but I still have choices, even though they're playing a shell game with me. So I've realized the minimum amount that I can get away with playing their game, but I still know that they're playing it. I don't like it, and can I change it from above? No, but I can vote. VIP, vote in person. Dealing with the blind or willfully blind and deaf is difficult. Absolutely, Loretta. And I've worked with deaf and blind people and dumb folk too. But seriously, as in a handicap situation. And they're easier to work with than people that have two eyes, a mouth, and a nose, and everything else. Bruce and Moonshine vehicle will run on shine, not the newer ones. If it's got a computer in it, they don't like to run on moonshine. If it's got a carburetor, though, yes. That's why I still got my old Isuzu. It's got a carburetor in it. How old am I? Oh, George, how old are you in there? GN, they have taken control of the interactions through sympathetic manipulation. Yes, Brick, wood gasifier. And that's why I still have my old pickup truck, because it's got a carburetor on it. And I'm prepared if it does go that way. Although I'd have to rebuild it and do it. But anyway, oh, Michelle, hi, how are you? Blessings to you. But in this whole dealing with stuff, I made it difficult for myself years ago. Oh, the taxes, and no, they didn't treat me right. And I ended up paying the price. It was my own fault. Just pay it, shut up. Don't try to manipulate, they're them, and that's that. Leave it alone. And thousands of extra dollars went because I tried to go against the system. Sometimes you just got to pay your tax. Sometimes you just got to buy the gas. Do we necessarily like it? No. but I'm not bitching about it as much as I used to. I still talk about it, but I was emphatic. I mean, oh, my face would turn red, and I'd pound the table, and and now it's like, yeah, okay. So, but yes, they're manipulating all these things. Yes, they are, and but the whole thing is that when you're aware of it, then but being aware of it, then are you being controlled? Because you're aware of it. Your awareness says you're not being controlled, that you still have choices. Now, sometimes the choices are really crappy and limited, but we still have choices. Now, sometimes, like paying your taxes, you just got to pay them. There is no other choice. Okay, you just got to pay them. So, in that respect, well, no choice, limited. Except I could sell and move. I could do that. But in the grand scheme of the world, oh, these people are doing this over there. And yeah, render unto Caesar. Thank you very much. And I was going to do something the other day, and things changed. If any of you read Shakespeare or no, okay, I'm sure of you heard, but there was a lot of talk about honor, and I was thinking about the speech by Brutus and Mark Antony. Anthony, listen to me. Anthony, during the play about how they murdered Julius Caesar. And Mark Antony keeps saying, Brutus, because he is an honorable man, says such and such about Caesar. But, Brutus is an honorable man. But Brutus is one of the guys who killed Caesar. So, but Brutus is an honorable man. Et tu, Brute? Yes, sir. Or, yes, ma'am. So where is the honor? So in one person's eyes, they're being honorable by stabbing and killing Caesar. And the other side of the coin is there are those who are like, but Brutus is an honorable man, And so, LOL, I am nowhere but here today. Ant says they just manipulate the inner systematic network, though psychological ploys on natural reaction that comes without intentional thought. If you intentionally think about the plot, you are not victims. I agree. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, I put it out there. I've been on an hour and a half, and I was even late getting on trying to see if everybody would see the notice. But absolutely, I agree with you, Guy Ant. I love playing around with that. Ant-Man. But in that, knowing that we're playing the game versus not knowing, or, oh my God, I have to, the wandering, mindless idiots that are out there. Now, let me put this back in there about this. The flashing lights and things are affecting people. And they say it's not. Well, it don't really affect me. Then how come you got a migraine? And how come you're tense all the time? Did you turn off your damn cell phone today? Well, no, because I read about this and a notice came in about that. And it kept you on pins and needles the whole time. Your emotions then they're controlling you. Are they, or is it the phone that's controlling you? Are you allowing the phone? Every time a little ding, whoa, got to see what it is. Who's controlling whom? Don't look. Put it down. Turn it off. Oh, but what? Are you in control? Turn it off. Shut it off. Don't look. Don't pay attention. But they sent this thing out. They're in control. Then if you believe that, you are. So there are so many people who are being controlled because just the cell phone itself and having to know what's going on, the Twitter thing and the this feed and the that thing, and let me check my this, and give yourself an hour a day and check the news. That's like me. If I try to, stay in tune with everything all the time, yeah, it was driving me nuts. So now I take a period of time, I go check things, and then I shut the computer off, or at least close the lid. And I'll come back in, check the weather, see what's going on, blah, 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 check the headlines. Oop, nothing new. Oop, close the lid. But if I don't have any little ding, 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 I better run over there and check my phone and see what the ding, ding, what the notice is. What do I check to see? Oh, somebody put out a thing. Oh, okay. But the people who are being controlled, they're allowing it. Turn your phone off. Well, but. So are they in control, or have you fallen for the ploy? And I say y'all fell for their ploy, the shell game. You have to do this in order to be a part of society. You must do this, and you have to do it like this. Oh, the people who have told me, oh, but if you don't have a cell phone, how can you survive? I got a cell phone, but it hadn't been turned on for 4 or 5 years. I'm still here. I still drive back and forth to town. What if you break down? Then I break down. In the old days, I broke down on the side of the road halfway home, and that's like a 7-8 mile walk halfway. Somebody picked me up, thank God, because I'd walked 3 or 4 miles and was really getting tired. But the idea, though, that folks who rely on this thing don't realize that there's other things in the universe other than this little cell phone thingy and relying upon it, and oh, there's a new app that you can do this with, and a new app to do that with. And do you have an app for your brain? What do you mean, Hawkeye? Do you have an app that like turns your brain on and off? Well, Hawkeye, I don't get what you're talking about. Listen, is your brain working right? Do you have an app to check it? Let me check my brain. Well, let me check my app first, see if I'm here. It's getting to that point. So anyway, my lovelies, my friends, Loretta, will the app do my dishes? Thank you. In some instances, yes, if you have an automatic dishwasher, there's got them to where it checks all the items in your refrigerator from home. So you can be at work and it'll scan what's in your refrigerator. So you can go, oh, I'm out of milk. If you don't know you're out of milk, then wait. And I'm not hooking my refrigerator up to the internet or anything else for that matter. Have you not seen some of these sci-fi movies where the computer takes over your house, and won't let you in or won't let you out or is trying to protect? I'm sorry. Don't tell anybody. I don't even have a lock on my front door. It's a bungee cord. Just saying, because I haven't finished the porch yet and put a doorknob on the real door. But anyway, but to the point though, where I live down here, with all the windows in my house, somebody said, why don't you have locks on your door? I said, because somebody's going to break in my house and steal something. They're just going to break one of these windows and come right on in. They ain't going to fiddle with the door. The door's locked. Well, yeah, but look at all these windows. Smack, and come right in, So, and I'm so far off the highway that if anybody did make it down here and I wasn't on blah, 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 then nobody would even know that my house had got broke into. The neighbors couldn't see it, wouldn't care. And so what good is a lock going to do me? Now that I got Duggar, he will warn me if somebody comes. So I'm good. But anyway, as far as, do we play the game? Do we play the game? Yeah, because, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So, that's just part of life. Now, like for myself, I made decisions years ago where my property is paid off now. I made decisions years ago that I would have passive solar energy. I made decisions years ago to keep my electricity bill down by how I lived and the appliances that I had. And does it get hot in the summertime? Yeah. But I 3 or 4 hours, it's really nasty. And right now it's cooling down. It'll be nice and cool here in the house in another hour or so. But I don't have to pay $100 or more for running air conditioning in my house just to make me feel comfortable. So we can make these choices, which I did. Other people can't do that. They can't live the way I do. I understand. They got to have central heat and air. They got to have a dishwasher. They got to have all these things, and then they bitch about a $250 light bill. Fine. You chose it, not me. So, and this idea that 2 minutes of running water will equals 4 gallons every time. If you washing dishes and you're keeping the water on for 2 minutes and it's just running, and you put the damn plug in the bottom of the sink and put a little bit of soap and wash your dishes and rinse them like we did in the old days. We didn't use 4 gallons of water every 2 minutes. There are times when I didn't have 4 gallons to do dishes with. A gallon will work fine if you know how to do it. This idea, but you're going to save water, and if you buy this product and you buy all these things, but okay, so you're buying all those chemicals are going where? Down into the sewer system. That's going to be harder for the sewage treatment plants to deal with, along with all those floating vitamins I've talked about in the past. So we're adding to the problems by adding all these extra chemicals and all these other things. Just use some soap and water in your hands. I've seen people rinse the dishes where they put them in the dishwasher because your dishwasher wouldn't get them clean enough. And I'm going, but it's already clean. Oh, but the dishwasher, it finishes them up. It's already clean. But they're putting almost clean dishes in the dishwasher. And I go, you folks are nuts. But that's society. And these days, people, oh my God, there's no dishwasher. I don't have a dishwasher. No, you have to wash. But I have to wash it by hand. Oh, my hands. Oh, get over it. Some things have just been nuts. Creature comforts, yes. And we can, I take my bowl, I let the dog lick the bowl out to pre-wash my dishes, mind you. Oh, that brings up a story. And then I go and rinse them out under the sink, which 2 or 3 cupfuls of water, a dash of soap, and I rinse it out, and that's it. What's all these gallons? And I don't fill up my sink full of water. I just do a little this because it's just me. But to the point of all of this stuff, and if I had a dishwasher, then I would be using more water, and I would be doing all this stuff. You have a dishwasher? You had a dishwasher. For my 20-year-old son has a dishwasher in his first apartment at the university. Now, they all have their place, but I'm watching these commercials. Oh, if you don't use a dishwasher, you're using 4 gallons per minute. Yeah, good for you, Delaney. That's how I missed you. Delaney's Delight. I wasn't sure about that. Delaney, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel later on. I have a double sink too. Actually, the sink in the bathroom, I'm gonna change out my double sink for an old porcelain sink that weighs a ton. It takes 2 people to pick it up. But it's a single sink, but it's got 2 porcelain sidebars, on either side of it. And but it's just one single sink. Now, what I do is I put a pan in the sink, and so but there's a dish pan that goes in there with a little bit of water. That's my soap. That's my cleaning, and then I rinse. So it's like, but in the old days, that's how we did things. And see, if you just put the crap in there and it washed them, okay. My point is, people are washing their dishes before they put them in the dishwasher, and that's what don't make sense to me. That's my point. And this idea of saving water, oh my God, it's in the commercials, and they're telling all these people, well, you have to have a dishwasher to save water. Not if you're pre-rinsing everything, but to the point, But anyway, that's one of those things. They're trying to manipulate us, but are they controlling us? No. It's our choice whether or not to use the damn machine or not. You sweep before you vacuum. That's not a bad idea, to get all the big stuff up, and then the vacuum gets all those smaller, dustier particles. Not a bad idea. Truth of me, I know everyone was just joking around because it was about following the same people on YouTube. Uh, use dishwasher for drying rack. Yes, it's a great place to store your dishes. I do it. I wish they had a dishwasher just for that. But it's like, I can put them in the rack and close the door. Well, I need a spoon. Open the thing, and there it is. Versus getting it out and putting it up and putting it over here. And anyway, love you guys too, G. And yeah, rinse on the other side. See, in talking about being happy, got a joke about some of this stuff, but and oh my God, is this bringing happiness to you all? Oh, holy shit. That is not what my intention was. We were supposed to all be depressed by the end of this video. We're all supposed to be pissed off and angry and unhappy. Tough shit, right? Nope, that's not what this video is about. And no, it's not for children. Although there are some kids that know more than about some of these subjects than the adults, which is really interesting because there are times when I think, oh, what are the kids coming up going to do? The Gen Z kids that are like in college and stuff now, some of them folks are dumb as a box of rocks. The 20-ish crowd right now, late teens, 20s. But this new group, the 12-year-olds, or I'm thinking soon to be 12 years old, and some of her folks, they're smart as hell. And they ain't taking the stuff. They're like, well, I see it, and I don't know if I want to be a part of it. Really? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know we have to buy gas. They're smarter than their parents. And it's not because of the internet, I don't think. Wait. Let me back that up. It is a result of the internet, but it's because they have options. But it's their own choice that they look at stuff and go, that's fake news. I don't need somebody to tell me, well, you better believe that, and some of these young adults, 12 years old, are smarter than a lot of people my age and younger. And I'm where I didn't have hope a few years back, I'm hoping that this generation of the 12-year-olds kind of thing in that sort of group, they've got some other kind of mystical power about them. Are they the Stark kids or whatever? Don't know. But I have hope for them kids. I do. Because they're seeing how mama and daddy are addicted to the cell phone. And they go, I just want to talk to my friends. But don't you carry it around all the time? No. I just call up, leave a message, and we'll, and so wanting to know what her friends are doing all the time on the cell phone, she don't care. She checks in, they do this, but it's sort of like in the old days when I'll call you when I get to the house, well, you call up and, people nowadays don't know, we had a party line. We had 4 people on our party line. So even though our phone number was only for our house, there were 3 other neighbors who had the same party line. So, it would ring, but sometimes you hear this little brrr, and it wouldn't do a full ring. It was the neighbor's house next to you that the phone was ringing. That's who the phone call was for. And you'd pick it up and go, hello. Oh, it's for you, Miss Ivy. Okay, bye. And then there were times when you'd hear somebody pick up and you'd go, Miss Ivy, I'm on the phone. Well, I need to call my sister. I'll be off in just a minute. Then you'd hear another click and they'd be, are you done yet? No, because I'm talking to my girlfriend at the time. And then okay. And you say, I'll call you later. Bye. People, if they thought they had to put up with that kind of stuff these days, they would go bonkers. The old dial phones, we did a play a couple of years ago. And it was one of these young kids. had never seen a dial telephone. And they looked at it and and this is what they were doing. Um, Looking at the dial on the phone, right? And they go, well, how do you push the buttons? And we was like, no, you have to dial it. You have to take the 9 and go all the way around. She goes, oh my God, you have to wait all this time? How did you ever do it? And we were like, what? It was 9, and you just dialed it. We just did. There's no buttons to push? No, it's old timey. They didn't know how to do it and were freaked out and pissed off. You mean I have to dial these numbers? Yes, because this play takes place in the 1930s and they didn't have touch phones back then. We can't substitute. No. Well, can't we? Oh my God. Over a dial phone. Now, for many of us, it's in our past. Granny had one or something. No, I had one. We had one. Granny had one too. But the idea, though, that as things have changed, so has our opinion of stuff. So I find it amazing that you can do all these things and you can touch a screen and go pink and it'll open up, or go pink and shrink something down. That's still new to me. I see it on TV and all, but I didn't know that the newer screens that you could actually touch the screen instead of doing the mouse thing. I want one of them, okay, because sometimes I can't fiddle down here. Now, I don't like a typewriter on the screen. Just have never been a fan of that. So the cell phone thing where you got to type out on the screen and stuff, I'm always hitting the wrong one. I'm always a little off. And so I spend more time backspacing and correcting, and I hate the autocorrect because it never spells what I really want. So I just said, no, this is pointless. If I want to talk to you now, back when I was doing theater, a text message sent out to the group in the cast, that was really important, where I might have to call everybody up or say, okay, here's the change in the schedule. You call her and him, and I'll call this and this, or you send them a text. But anyway, that had value to me back then, but I'm not in theater and I don't have all this stuff, but to the point. So some of this stuff does have value. I'm not saying it doesn't, but to live with it by your side all the time, then maybe you are being controlled, and not manipulated, but controlled. You can't put it down. And in that respect, you are being controlled by something else. I would say, hey, pay attention to what you're doing. Maverick, they were heavy enough to have been used. Wait, are you talking about the old phones? They forgot to dial 0, says Teresa. Gee, we should set up these chat boards as helplines of sorts. If you need assistance or relocation, we should work as a team to make it happen. Yeah, I agree with that. But in to the point, G Ant, within our soul tribe, we have helped each other. So although we don't outwardly advertise it, we are doing that. Okay. A place at the table will definitely be provided for the golden vids of this sort of the group for sure. Much love. Thank you, Gian. I'm trying to scroll back up. Yeah, dishwasher for a drying rack. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I got back up to the top. No low vibes live here. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to keep it going. I might talk about something that is depressing, but I'm going to do my dadgum best to try to turn things around. Yeah, smart kids, Teresa. Absolutely. Now, not all of them. There's a few dummies in the group, but Maverick says they were heavy enough to have been used as weapons. Remember the movies in the 80s, how many guys got hit with them? Yeah, the phones. Absolutely. If you got hit by a phone now, you go, ooh. Yeah. Looking for the send button. Thank you, Teresa. GN, I'm a construction and agricultural specialist. We can all help each other. Yep. Well, it's like for me being down here on this property, you know, my intention was to have a couple of small, tiny homes or, you know, sheds, trailers, whatever. And if somebody needed a place to stay, even if it was just for a weekend to get out of your location or whatever, to come meditate. But, you know, so I've offered a place to stay to quite a few people, but very few people will take me up on it because it's too hard for them. Okay, so, or it's the wrong area. Oh, okay, I still keep the invitation open, but to the point though, there are people who have needed help. I've allowed to come here and then turn around and crap on me and steal my stuff and then turn around and say that I was the bad guy. So, you know, there are many of us that would help relocate, and I still do, still work on that. But 5 days it took my son, what? I missed it. Where'd it go, Delaney? I missed it. Oh, crap. I hate this thing when it goes. Oh, well. Oh, 5 days it took my son to memorize capital letters and binary code. He just turned 12 on 9/5. Happy birthday to him, Delaney. Yeah, some of these kids are smarter than Crumb, I'll tell you. You also remembered lots of numbers. Use some brain. Yes, I used to know phone numbers, you know, by folks. You're right, Loretta. Dopamine addiction. Right, Michelle. And you hated dialing 0 or 9. It didn't really bother. I never thought of it back then. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, if your number was 949, you know, 9939, then you had a lot of waiting to do. But we just put up with it. It was just what it is, you know. Nowadays, we look back and go, oh, look how long it took us to dial a phone number. Ah, come on. Yep, tell him happy belated birthday. Yep. You too, open think. You got room for 7-member family. 7-member? I don't know about that, Loretta. There's enough room here on the property, but I don't have room in the house. Pitch tent on Hawkeye's lawn. Yes. I got a pretty big size lawn too, so. And there's other places too. And I thought by this time I would have already found some like-minded beings, not necessarily hippie types, but back to the earthers at least. And that we could work out, you know, minimal amounts of electricity. I can't, you know, make it without a fan during the summertime, and I wouldn't expect somebody else to. But we can do things with batteries and solar and minimal power, you know, requirements, not needing 220 and dryers and stuff, you know. But to the point, you know, nobody seems to be interested, or, you know, oh, it's too much trouble. And it's like, well, okay, you live your life and you're bitching about that your life is too much trouble. But to give up your dishwasher and central heat and air, well, that's too much trouble. Don't complain to me. I'm sorry. If those are your rule, well, what am I going to do? You don't have central heat and air. No, I don't. Ain't going to get it neither. Oh, well, I can't handle that. Well, have a good day. You know, you do what you do and I do what I do. But you know, if you, good evening, Isby. Hey, Robert V. Glad to see you tonight too. Soul family, I greet you in love and in the light of one infinite creator. Thank you. His favor be upon you always. Absolutely. Thank you, Isby. And that is my prayer to all y'all. That's a try. Pitch tent. Yep. And I got a couple of teepee type tents too. Trina was talking about doing that on Milky Way, manifesting 80 acres for all of us. Got to pay taxes. Got to buy it. But anyway, we are spread out to pollinate the minds of those around us. Yep. If you guys need 80 acres, then I will work on it. Does that mean there's going to be 80 people with an acre apiece? Do you need 80 acres? I'm just saying, what's 80 got to do with this? But I'm just curious. There's 18 acres here, and there's a lot of things that couldn't be utilized. Where is it? What's on it? Are there barns? Are there houses? Are there, just because you got 80 acres, that don't mean shit. I got 18, and that don't mean shit. But anyway, but the idea, I'm not against it. Don't make it wrong. Just because you got 80 acres, there's a lot of stuff. I got 18, and it's tough. Okay. Even when I was a young man, it was tough. But can it be done, or could it be done? Yeah. I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. But 80 acres, and then what? It's the then what? Manifest property, but then what? And I deal every day with the then what, because if I'm pumping mud out of my, which I am right now, out of the well, or a branch falls on something and breaks the back of my shed like it did. Now I got to go out there and fix that. Or there is a plot of land up here on the top of the hill. It's over 100 acres, like 110 or something. But you talk about some good ass property, and you could almost live on it. There are wild hogs and turkey and deer, and the river runs through part of it. But somebody has to give you 80 acres, or you're going to have to come up with some bucks. And depending on where it is, I mean, even around here, 80 acres would be about $160,000 with nothing on it. 160 grand, 150,000 easy, unless it's swampland. No jive turkey. Yeah, they're wild down here. Yep, they're all over the place. Yep, you have to make the acres work. Now, years ago, and I have the book upstairs, there was a Chinaman, and he took I think it was 28 acres, and him and his family and so many other people lived on this 28 acres, and they were self-sufficient. It had a small pond, it had ducks, it had chickens, it had goats, it had this, it had that, and then blah, 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 blah. It had a small rice paddy. I mean, it's the name of the book is called The One Straw Revolution. Okay, One Straw Revolution. I'm sure it's still out there in print somewhere, but this guy shows what he did, how they planned it, and on 20, it wasn't more than 28, okay, and that was part of the deal. It had to be a reasonable amount of acreage. But, the pond took up so much space, and the rice paddy took up so much space, and this took up so much space. And, they had planned it all out, and everything worked into this and that and the other thing. But to the point, so if you have the right mentality, tools, and folks, then you too could make 10 acres work for 20 people, I think about, people living in some of these neighborhoods where I'm down in Tampa, you got a third of an acre piece of property, a third of an acre for a family of however many's in the family in the house, right? And that's the lawn and the thing, a third of an acre. So 1/3. So three families can live on an acre if you go by that rule. All right. Because a third of an acre apiece. So if you've got how many acres times a third of an acre, divided, okay, I can't think that far ahead, but you get the idea. But the thing is that if you co-op the property, like some of these old hippies that I used to know back in the day, they bought a farm, 40 acres, and subdivided it. And it went by how much money you had. So some people had more money, they got a bigger chunk. Other people had less money, they got a smaller chunk. But everybody agreed that that was okay because they all got it. They leveled whatever the total cost was. They just said, okay, you put in 10,000, it's 500 an acre. So then you get this many acres. It's, just saying. So, but they had a communal garden. They had a communal stream. They had a communal this. They had a communal that. They'd get together and do communal things together. So the idea, though, that and if somebody needed help with something, they could holler over the hill and ask, Joe to come over and help them up with a project. They helped each other on each other's pieces of property. Now, over time, it got tiring and newsome and this and that, and somebody had an affair with somebody else's wife or blah, 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 whatever the mess. But then the group kind of broke up. Somebody sold their property out and somebody gave it away and this person did that. So it didn't really last, which I was like, well, it seemed so harmonious there for a while. But then life happens and all these people's attitudes changed and they needed jobs to keep up what they needed. So they're living off the land and the money. So as they got jobs and did this, they got away from it and moved and did and everything changed. So, you can say, well, I got 80 acres, but what's it? When you get down to it, what is it about the acreage? What are you going to do on it? How many people are going to participate? Are they going to participate? Are they going to be harmonious? If you have 80 acres and an acre per person, then that's 80 people, and y'all going to have to work together. And what if you don't? Then there's going to be 80 people that are miserable on 80 acres. But anyway, I'm not trying to talk it down. I'm not. But there's a lot more than just having that. There's a lot more to it, And so the first thought is, well, I would really like to have this, and that's okay. Work on it. But once you get it, then what? How are you going to pay the taxes? Who's going to work it for you? How old are you? Are you over 40? Then you've only got 10, maybe 10 good years of hard labor. I'm 68 in a couple of weeks. I can't do what I used to do. I can still help out. I can still weed a garden. I can still do a little, but I can't do what I used to do. So am I a liability? What if somebody gets hurt, which has happened, and then that person that you were depending upon now can't pull their own share, not because of their own fault. They got in an accident, something happened. You know what I mean? So our thoughts about this, although very good and very genuine, there's a thing called life that gets in the way of all this stuff, or that makes this manifestation not necessarily the prize that you think it is. I'm not speaking against it. I want to make you perfectly clear. I'm not speaking against this. I'm just saying, then what? That's all. Then what? Okay. Now there are people who work together and work just fine, but simply because you want to manifest property does not mean that's the answer. Or you know what I mean? Let's manifest a group that would work together to, you know what I mean? Then 80 people who each want an acre apiece will get together and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to write up a contract with each other. We're going to follow these basic rules, and we're all going to live. But then you're still going to get on each other's nerves. You're still going to have your points of differences. How are you going to resolve them? Well, but we got 80 acres. So what? Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Because everybody's got their own opinion. And we like that. But then somebody's got to be in charge. And then everybody's going to hate the person in charge. Round and round and round it goes. So 80 acres, great idea. But then what? Just saying. Think beyond that. Okay? Because once you manifest it, it might not be what well, I got the property. Then what? I'm not saying it can't be done. I've seen people do it, but I've seen it fail miserably. It took 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years to do it. But in that length of time, People's change, things happen, and what it started out to be with all these lovely people and everything turned into a giant cluster muck. So, but anyway, not saying it. Trust me, I'm not saying it can't be done. All right, I'm just saying there are lots of other things that go into that. Yeah, different, right, Robert V. And different counties have higher taxes. Okay, there are state taxes, and then there's the county tax. I happen to live in a county where their tax is a little high, but I'm not moving. I got my place. Yeah, subdivisions have crazy rules. Exactly, Robert V. Truth of me, communication and willingness to work it out. Yeah, but see, some people say, well, but you not, this is my idea. Nobody agrees with you. You know, there are 10 people and you're the only one that feels that way. Then you're going to feel left out, right? So you can't get the other 9 people to agree to what you think it should be done. And even though maybe later on you were right, the point is that you're not all together. So you know what I mean? So I had a friend of mine that I worked with, and I told this to a friend of mine. I said, you know, he said, living is easy. Life is easy if it weren't for other people getting in the way. And I was like, what? He goes, life's easy. I go to work, I put up a building, we get paid, we come home, we drink a little beer, smoke a doobie, and, you know, and watch a little boob tube. Life is great. It's the other people that make it hard. Well, then there's the tax collector, and there's the people, then there's the next door neighbor, and then it's other people that make your life difficult. My life's just fine down here, but when other people get involved, well, then you got to, well, what about his feelings, and what about that? What about this, and what about that? So, but anyway, life would be great if it weren't for other people. Gee, and I used to go to Santa Clara County and San Jose County to change zoning for years. Well, if you're in California still, get out, okay? Isby says, we all have skills and life skills we can contribute to our community. Yes, I believe that. And see, I've lived with folks here, and they've had to move for other reasons. But the idea, because we are all individuals and because we all have free will, well, wait a minute, I have this idea. What if everybody doesn't agree? You know, anyway. Robert V says, I used to be a people person, but I got to know people. Yeah, there you go. I can't afford to get out, says Loretta. I understand. And that's a lot of people's issues. You can't afford, you're stuck where you are. But here's the thing, Loretta, maybe there is a way out. And so it might be but to the point though, to manifest it is to like, well, I'm creator. I'd like to get out of this place. Help me find a way, you know, point. People are harsh because they are victims. Yep, G-Ant. Rules and boundaries, truth in me. You have to be more positive about humanity. Well, that's all said and good. And you can get, I've had people of like-minded, you know, thoughts here, but their own thoughts. And it's like, look, the garden needs weeded. Well, but I worked in the garden yesterday. So, well, but I worked in the garden 2 days ago. So the garden needs work every day. The stuff keeps growing, the weeds and the this and the that. You have to pick bugs off. You got to do this. The garden is an all the time chore. It isn't something, well, I planted it and just sit and watch it. No, it's a job. It's a commitment. So people, well, I'm going to plant a garden. Yeah, but are you going to work it? I've had people plant gardens and then call me up later on and go, oh my God, this garden is really tough. I got to go out there and do this and stake up the tomatoes. And I got to do, oh my God, this is so much work. Oh, yeah, but do you like it? Well, like you getting fresh tomatoes, right? Well, yeah. Did you like them? Well, yeah, but it's a lot of work. I'd rather just buy them from the store. Okay, but then you don't know what you're getting. You grew your own, so you know what you got. Does that make a difference? You put the energy into it, and was the tomato good? Oh, it was delicious. Well, then you grew it. It was yours. You buy it from the store. You go, eh. So, but anyway, there are folks who, well, I'll plant a garden, but will you work it? When on the days you say, I don't really don't want to, but you got to go out and pick, or you got to go out and weed, or you got to go out and water. You have to, or all the work that you did before that. So, are you willing to do that? Are you actually, honest to God, committed to doing that? Well, but. So, yes, a garden is an everyday job. But so there are people who want to move back to the land and have a garden, but you got to work it. And if you go to work and come home, you still got to work it. And if you think you're just going to survive off the land, go ahead, try it. Now, I got to say, if you aren't a hard worker, then give up now. You won't survive. That's a promise. Yep. Most people are waiting for the universal income. Right, Robert V. But having a universal income doesn't mean you're going to get universal food. Robert V. I mean, I can't wait to plant my winter garden because I do much better with greens and lettuce and stuff, and broccoli and things like that here in the wintertime. Colquitt County grows a crap load of cabbage worldwide, not just statewide, but worldwide. It's okay, Michelle. We love you anyway. Sorry you can't chat. We love you anyway. Unpack. Um, I'm a hard worker too, Robert V, but I'm old and I just can't produce what I used to. So, but with that, hey, Amanda, how are you? Yeah. And there are people who say, well, Teresa, so many of us are over 55. Hell, I'm over 65, but it doesn't mean I'm not giving up, but I cannot pull the same weight as I could 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago. When I was a kid and building this house, I'd work for 8 or 9 hours a day and come home and work till 11 on the house. I can't do that now. There's no way. But my heart's in it, but my body ain't, so yeah, you won't get a handout until yours is out first. I'm Robert, I'm trying my best not to get old. My friend who was here yesterday, we chatted for a couple hours. It was a really good visit too. She was like, you don't act like you're 68 years old. And I was like, I think of back when my pop was 68. He was going down to the diner and he was playing around the golf, but with a golf cart, but still, so he was active. But as far as going out and doing and digging gardens and stuff like that, nah. I'm out pouring concrete. I might pour concrete yet tonight because it's cooler outside and I got everything ready. My pops wouldn't have been pouring concrete at 68. No, he'd be no. I don't do that no more. Where I'm still doing it, and brickwork, lawn work, and landscaping and stuff like that. Yeah, I have to pace myself too. If you could make it to my house, you will be welcome with open arms, says G Ant. Same here. Any of y'all that are in this group, we think enough alike, we could probably work out a deal, and we could probably sit down and say, okay, look. Now, like there have been examples here in my property where people say, well, why don't you get a deep well? Well, because it costs $10,000 and it requires a 220 outlet and it requires this and it requires that. And I don't have $15,000 to get a deep well. I've been doing okay with rainwater in my shallow well. Now I do want to finish this well down here in Outback. But the fact that I can't afford a deep well. My neighbor's deep well that is 375 feet deep has gone dry, where I still had water in my hand dug well that's only 23 feet. So why would I want to spend $15,000 on a well that could go dry like my neighbors did when there's a severe drought? Why would I do that? I need to learn how to work with what I have. But anyway, but there are people, well, I wouldn't move down there unless you have a deep well. Okay, then you got 15 grand? Because I don't have it, can't get it. And but I have other options to dig wells back here that won't cost me 16 grand or whatever. So help me drill this well and we'll have water. And we'll have water and we'll have rainwater and we can collect more rainwater. There are ways that we can do this without spending 16 grand on a deep well and a light pole and 220 outlets and the pump and the wire and the thingy and all, Oh, but I wouldn't do it without a deep well. I wouldn't do it unless I had central heat and air. I wouldn't do it if this, that, and the other thing. Then your life isn't hard enough, because you still have choices. But anyway, Truth Me says, I'm sick of hearing how people like me will die. Oh, people gave up on me years ago. They said, you got a shallow well. You'll be dead from the poisons and the runoff. I'm still here, and in better shape than many of them. But anyway, Maverick says, we have value. Our minds are strong. Agreed. You have so much to be done, like canning the produce. You have to have the cans. You have to have the thing. You have to have this. You have to have anybody ever tried canning? It's not as easy as you think, but to the point, it can be done. Yes, it can. But again, if you think, well, I got some cans and there's the vegetables, and nah, you got work to do. That's all there is. Yes, you do it. Yes. And I know some other folks that can. Now, I have freeze-dried some stuff. You can can. I can can. You ought to see me dance the can, y'all. Ooh-wee. Let me tell you, can I spin one? All right, my friends, it's been 2.5 hours that y'all have been hanging out with me. Some of you just got here. Loretta says, you stole my line. Yeah, well, there you go. Listen, be happy, y'all. That's what this whole thing started out to be. You know me, we change subjects along the line. Going to can some beets. Beets are good for you, and I don't eat enough of them. Even as peeling freaking potatoes, you can do something. Yes, we are in control. Yeah, we might have to go along with some of the manipulation, and you might feel at times that you're being controlled. But if you realize that they're trying to control you, then they don't have you in control. So thank you, G-Ant and everybody. My goodness, it's 1:09 a.m. on 9/7/2020, and there were 15 people in here a few minutes ago. Be the frequency you want to receive. Absolutely. Remember, my friends, we can do these things. We can manifest these things. But at the same point, it's like the 80 acres. Now, I might sound like I'm poo-pooing it. I'm not. I'm just saying there's so much more to it, is all I mean. Okay? There's a lot of work in 80 acres. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of getting along. And if people aren't really strong enough in that respect, and if this person's got this idea how it should be, and it's in conflict with other folks, then you start out with conflict immediately. So you have to be careful with just because 80 acres is there, don't mean that that's the solution. Okay, just saying. Good luck. I pray for you all. I do. And Truth to Me, G-Ant, Maverick, Delaney, as always, Delaney's Delight. I will look that up, okay? And I have issues, Delaney, with Facebook, so I'll try to check you out there. Be of value, folks. And remember, VIP, vote in person. Pass it around. I said earlier on in this video that I mentioned it a few days, a week or so ago, vote in person. And now it's starting to catch on with a lot of other people to vote in person. So remember, you heard it here partially first. Pass it along. Vote in person. Make your vote count and vote in person. Yep. Thank you, Teresa. For as much trouble as it might be for me or anybody else, please go vote in person. You know, I don't know how many of you remember the 2000 election with the dangling chads and all that kind of stuff. We are setting ourselves up for that same thing 20 years later. And here's the deal, and it's already out there. The Democrats, if you think they've been against Trump now, listen to this one. Here's a good night for y'all. If Trump wins by a landslide of the popular vote, the Democrats are going to hold the election because of mail-in votes. They want mail-in votes so they can tie the election up forever if they need to. Remember that if you vote in person, the vote's there. So all those damned hanging chads, yes, Teresa. But the thing is, though, if we go along and do the mail-in, then we fit their goal. We have fit the deep state because now they can withhold the election. They can hold it over our head. Well, we haven't counted all the votes. Well, what happened to these votes? It happened last election. Let's not give them a really good opportunity to do this again. Vote in person. I love you. Now, have a good rest of the weekend. Tomorrow, a lot of us have the day off. Be kind, be sweet, be compassionate to one another. Maryland is pushing mail-in ballots. Don't do it. Vote in person, because if you don't, it's just going to add to the chaos after the election. And just think about previous elections. Go back and do a little homework. Those of us without too much brain damage, remember past elections. We don't want to go there. We don't. Okay. So anyway, I love you all, and I always finish with a prayer. Thank you all, G. Aunt Teresa, Robert V. Love you, my friend. Michelle, Isby as always. And if I missed anybody, Candy Apple was on earlier, and Delaney, Delaney's Delight. I'm going to check out your YouTube and make sure that I'm subscribed. But anyway, I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. Love you too, Michelle. I didn't miss you there. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And as law of three, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And that you will continue to share your knowledge with other folks. And that you will continue to reject the chaos that's out there right now. Be happy, friends. As the beginning of this video was about these crazy political weirdos are trying to make the word happy a bad thing. We might upset somebody that's already upset because they can't be happy like us. We have to stop this nonsense. Don't play into it. So until next time, my friends, thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Isby says, thank you all for being in my reality. I love all you beautiful, talented souls. Love, favor, and peace upon you all. Thank you, Teresa. Night, Duggar. I have to take him out in a few minutes. Them dimwits are going to try to steal it with those mail-in votes. Yes, Isby. Be kind, be sweet. Night, everybody. Truth in me, everybody. Michelle, if I miss somebody, you know I still love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And from South Georgia, we thank you, Bob, for a good show. And also to the universe. We say thank you to the universe and all of creation that's helping us out, to all of the universe and to all those alien beings up there that are keeping an eye out for us. And they are. So be kind, be sweet. And from South Georgia, TTFN. And if any of you are in the neighborhood around the end of the month, be a part of my birthday and let's go out on the river and have some fun. Okay, that's my birthday present to me, is sharing my joy of kayaking. Till next time, Teresa, Michelle, and everybody. Loretta, good to see you. And Isby is all. And okay, ween, 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 ween. Bye, y'all.